Prabhu, can you share ISKCON Whitefield live link in the Shraddhavan group? This live is going on, live stream in Whitefield Live. Check it and share. Okay, So today's topic is about divine and mundane worship. So, as always, we dedicate this session to AC Founder Acharya AC Uttam Prabhupada, like who gave us very nice clarity about our Vedic scriptures. Otherwise, like my personal case, like we were not aware, like scriptures are there in our home altar, everyone is present, all the demigods, Sai Baba also present, like many people are present. So who is the Supreme Lord, and what is the who are the other people or the personalities, what is their relationship, what is our relationship to God? Like, so very nicely, like Prabhupada has given us like a presentation in which we can very easily understand what is the purpose of Vedic scriptures, what all, who are we, like we have already discussed, who are we, what is our relationship to God. So if Prabhupada like didn't establish this society and this preaching mission, like the advent, like the mission of Lord Chaitanya is not spread in the world, so we wouldn't have like come to know like क्या है रियलिटी क्या है समझ में नहीं आता मतलब ऐसा लगता है कि हाँ कुछ तो है जब if we are not able to
Is it common time to always speak up like that when we actually heard about other civilizations that there is nothing from God?
correct
So we come to conclusion like all the gods are equal.
हाँ
That is the common thinking.
Correct.
Everyone see the same. All God is equal. You can worship.
yeah correct. So this way, like when we are presented with a shastric knowledge in which we can understand, okay, how this can be correct. So then we have faith. Yeah, this is a correct way of living life. But if we don't have a nice philosophical understanding, if our understanding is only sentimental, कि हाँ, I am a worshipper of Durga, I will chant the Aarti in the morning. But who is Durga? Like, who are we? What is the relationship? If we don't understand that philosophically, then our faith remains sentimental, and sentimental faith like is very shaky. Today, sentiments are good, so we are worshipping. Tomorrow, sentiments may not be good, so we may stop worship also. But if philosophically someone understand, no, this is the goal of life, this is who we are, this is our nature to be servant of God, and in that relationship only we can derive the highest happiness. When we understand that at least theoretically, then we can like apply to that process. कि हाँ पूरा faith है इस process को apply करेंगे तो आगे जाके अच्छा होगा. If we can understand that, then like it makes the process easier. Otherwise like hazy, एकदम hazy रहता है कि क्या होगा आगे आगे पता नहीं. लेकिन process clear रहता तो मतलब we are able to commit to that process. So today's topic, divine and mundane worship. So today we'll see very interesting topic, like how in our shastras and our scriptures different worships are being given, types of worship are given, different deities to worship are given, and we will understand like who to actually worship and what are different kinds of worship that people do and what is the like correct way to worship from different shastri examples. So we see that first of all, we understand that this demigod worship, the worship of deities, is not only in India. So our Sanatan Dharma was spread all over the world. So here are some examples. So this is you can see this is Lord Vishnu standing on his Garuda, and this deity is from Japan. In Japan, they call it their own mythology, and they have their own deities and demigods. So our deities and personalities like very much are in sync with their personalities. So like we called him Narayan, they call him Narayan 10, and his carrier this is known as Pongo Rikish. So my referring to Garuda, a bird which is carrying a deity whose name is Narayan 10. Similarly, there is a description of Lord Shiva. In Japan, they are having these kind of deities, Shiva and Parvati and their Nandi and their sons like them. Similarly, they also have a creator known as Born 10. who is Lord Brahma. Then they also have a goddess of fortune, of Lakshmi, that is Lakshmi Devi. Similarly, other deities we can like, this is like very similar. So they have a deity who is like, whose face is like then of like an elephant, who's a trunk, that deity. So he's Lord Ganesh, Kanki 10 and Show 10 like that. Then there are descriptions of Kuvera, like Lord of Treasures, then Vishwakarma, then like engineer, Agni Dev, Varun Dev, Yamraj. So all these are different deities already present in their like faith, Japanese faith. Saraswati, so there is a goddess uh, for knowledge, for learning. Then there's Lord Indra also present. So see, our Lord Indra, we say that his carrier is Airavat. Airavat is a elephant. So in there also, so the Lord Tai Shakuten is there. So his carrier is also an elephant. You can see this elephant. So you can see that our uh, and there are many other examples. So we have not shown many other examples in Indonesia. We have seen like many temples are present, Ram temple, and their kings in previous time, they used to name their kings as Rama. So their king's name used to be Rama 1, Rama 2, Rama 3, like that. Like in England, they had a Henry 1, Henry 2, Louis 3, Louis 4, like that. So they're Rama 1, Rama 2, and they're so like that they used to name it. So it shows that our culture was spread throughout, and nowadays we are also finding many temples, remains of temples in Russia and many other countries. And one more example is that like in previous time, Egyptians used to have a marking on the head, which is exactly similar to the Sri Vaishnava Tilak. Sri Vaishnava have this tilak, no? That's long V-shaped tilaka, like that. And but now this question comes like, if Sanatan Dharma was spread all over the world, so now why is it that it is only present in India? What is the answer to this question?
Because most of the goddess and all the incarnation has been done in India.
That may be. We can also see, understand this from this example that in India also, nowadays, if we see that some states are like turning into completely atheistic. Some states are turning into other faiths. Correct, na? There is a conversion going on in some states. People are not following Sanatan Dharma in some states, like Northeastern or some other states. We have seen. So there we can see like in spite like our Sanatan Dharma is like spread all over the world, and even it is spread in India also. In India itself, some states or some people are turning away from Sanatan Dharma. So that way we can like extrapolate and think that Sanatan Dharma was spread all over the world, but slowly, due to some degradation here and there, people stopped following it and introduced their own things and their own religious faiths like that. So today's topic, to understand today's topic, we need to understand this background. This we also discussed in last to last class about tattvas. So we are discussing now there are tattvas means the entity, what different entities are in this creation or in existence. There is Vishnu tattva like that. Huh? So we have three tattvas: Ishvara tattva or Vishnu tattva. Other is Shakti tattva. Then one is Jiva tattva. In last class, we also discussed Shambhu tattva. Correct, na? Four tattvas here. But today, like mainly, there are only these three main tattvas. Shambhu tattva is also there. So Ishvara tattva is Vishnu tattva, the personality of Godhead. So Krishna, Rama, all the incarnations of Krishna, Nrsimhadev, Vaman Dev, they all belong to Vishnu tattva, personality of Godhead. And this we have already discussed in detail, like how Krishna, what is the difference between Krishna and Vishnu, and how they are same yet different, like many things we have discussed. Now today, Shakti Tattva, in Shakti Tattva, we see that Shakti means energy. So energy is the energy of the Lord. So energy of Lord is mainly divided into two categories. One is known as Antaranga Shakti, and other is known as Bahiranga Shakti. Antaranga means internal energy, Bahiranga means external energy. So Antaranga Shakti of the Lord is Radharani. Hare Krishna. No. Radharani, Lakshmi Devi. So these are internal potency of the Lord. And there is a Bahiranga Shakti of the Lord. And she is known by the name Durga Devi. So Bahiranga Shakti, the external energy of the Lord, is in charge of the material creation. She takes care of the things that happen in material world. And Antaranga Shakti is the internal potency of Lord. She is a pleasure-giving potency. So she, whatever she does is for the pleasure of the Lord. Even like externally, whatever she does is under the order of the Lord. But her job is to, like the Durga Devi's job is to keep people in this material world who are not ready to surrender to God and to like purify them. Like she has a Trishul and she is like punishing the living entities here. Like, why don't you surrender to the Supreme Lord? Why don't you surrender? Like that, she's punishing. But internal potency of the Lord, Radharani, what she is holding in her hand, she is holding a flower. She is inviting, like she is inviting all the living entities, please come, take this flower and offer it to Krishna. That is the difference. So this is a Shakti Tattva, the energy of the Lord. And there are various expansions of Radharani and Durga Devi. Many, many. Can you name some other Shaktis? Other goddesses? Kali is also expansion of Durga Devi. Then Mahavishnu, yes. And Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, like that. So that is Shakti Tattva. Now in Jiva Tattva are we, the living entities who are part and parcel of the Lord. So in Jiva Tattva, all the living entities come, and these living entities are spirit soul, Satchidananda, spirit soul, and they are covered in the material world. When they are in material world, so Jivas are also there in spiritual world, and Jivas are also there in material world. Both the places they are there. In the spiritual world, the Jivas have their own spiritual body, and they have a particular relationship to the Lord, either in Vaikuntha Loka. So different kinds of rasas are there. Shanta rasa, Dasi rasa, like that. Many rasas are there. And they have a relationship with the Lord in the spiritual world. And some of the Jivas, not all, some of the Jivas, like small portion of the Jivas, are in the material world. Material world means material world, the concept of material world, you already know that whenever the Jiva thinks that I want to enjoy separately from the Lord, a facility for him is given. हाँ, ये है material world, इसमें आप भगवान को भूल सकते हैं. You can forget about Lord Krishna here and try to enjoy, although not possible. And when you will be frustrated in this process, then again you will surrender to Lord and come back to spiritual world. So in the material world also Jivas are present, but in material world, Jivas have a material covering. So what is this material covering? This body. So this body is of two types, divided into two categories, the gross body and a subtle body. So gross body like this, what we can see, the earth, water, air, fire, ether, this flesh and bone, this. And then there is a subtle body also, inner covering. That is mind, intelligence and false ego. So those are Jiva Tattvas. So in regard to demigods, so demigods are also Jiva Tattvas. So we have already covered in level 2 and level 1, like demigods are like in the universal government of the Lord. In the material world, there is a government. Material world में government है. उस government में there are different posts. ऐसे prime minister का post है, ऐसे railway minister का post है, ऐसे मतलब different posts are there. And those posts are to be occupied by some jiva like us. So those are known as devtas or demigods. And they also have a body. So they are spirit soul and they have a covering of subtle body and a gross body. And their body is different from ours. But they sure enough that they have a material body. And because they have a material body, they are subject to the laws which apply on the material body. So material body means like if you have a material body, that means you have taken a birth. You have taken a birth, and one who has taken a birth, he will be subjected to death. And there will be also degrees of pains, miseries which happen due to body. Like we may be subjected to some kind of pain, but you may be not be subjected to same kind of pain as you. मतलब आप दोनों का experience अलग रहेगा. वैसे ही the jivas who are in demigod body of devatas, they have a different degree of happiness and distress in their life. So it is said that in heavenly planets, they have their own planets. So there are 14 planetary systems. And the higher planetary system, the Swarg Loka and Taploka, Mahalloka, many lokas are there. And they stay there. And their life is, so life is long. Like our 6 months here, 1 day here is like 6 months there, like something like some calculation. 6 months here is like 1 day there. तो यहाँ पे 6 महीने गुजर जाता है, वहाँ पे एक दिन ही गुजरता है. Like there's some calculation is there. So their life span, according to our years, the human years is 10,000 years. So they were very long life. So according to like relatively, we can say that they are immortal because हमारे life में उनका तो कोई death होना नहीं. But still, it is said that हाँ देवता अमर हैं, but they are not amar. They will surely die because they have material body, and they are different posts. Like for example, here there are different deities like Agni Dev, Indra Dev, and they are in charge of different uh, aspects in this universe. Like in our body, these are different senses, and those there are different in charges of those senses. So, like for example, Agni Dev is in charge of voice, Indra Dev of hands, like that. Different deities are there. So when these demigods are there, so so they have different kinds of pains and pleasures, and they are also subject to birth, old age, disease, and death. Degrees can be different. So they may be subject to less number of disease and old age, but it may be there for some time. But here in the material world, on the other lower planets, there may be more pain. So why is it that they are subjected to less pain and more happiness? They are close to, they are closer to Krishna. Okay. So that is the arrangement made. They are pure, not pure devotees, better than us. So it is said that so this arrangement is there. So to go to heavenly planets, some pious credits have to be there. So we have to perform some punya, material punya कुछ हमने life में किया होगा, तो हमको कुछ we have to get some enjoyment. So that kind of enjoyment we can get in heavenly planets. So in heavenly planets, there are more degree of happiness, better than here. So if person performs good activities here, मतलब दान करते हैं, गरीबों की मदद करते हैं और बच्चों को पढ़ाते हैं, लोगों का भला करते हैं, ऐसा मतलब they do some pious activities, so they are awarded a body in the next life, a demigod body and some post. So there are, it is said, around 33 crore devatas. So 33 crore posts are there, which may be occupied by different jivas. We can also occupy that post in our next life. So it is said that if one performs 100 Ashwamedha Yagyas, so there is a certain kind of yagya, if one performs 100 of them, then in next life he will get a post of Indra. So Indra is a post, may be occupied by different jivas. Similarly, Brahma is also a post. So whenever last to last class we have discussed, like whenever Garbhodaksha Vishnu, from his navel comes a lotus, and on that Brahma is there. Brahma comes from that navel, from the lotus and the navel. So it is said that in a material world, whoever the best living entity is there, he is given the post of Brahma. So that means like he is a jiva like us, but they are better than us. So they are in charge of different powers. Like in a government, someone is an officer, someone is a Aadhaar card officer. तो है, तो अगर आपको कुछ काम कराना है, so if you want to go and change your mobile number, so you have to go to their officer. He has a power, na? He can reject your application. कि हाँ नहीं, your this thing is not there, you have not applied correctly, go again, come here. So you have to, like, a respect has to be given. And also they are very dear to the Supreme Lord that you told. So they are very dear to Lord Krishna because they are helping them in managing the activities of this world. So they are dear to the Lord and therefore there should be respect. Now we'll see what is the relationship between Lord Krishna and demigods. What is the relationship according to you?
They are dear to Krishna.
They are dear to Krishna, okay. And they are
part and parcel.
We are also part and parcel of Krishna. We are also dear to Krishna. Then what is the difference? Are we demigods? No. Then? So they are jivas like us, but given a certain post. That is the thing. And some misconception is there in India nowadays that different demigods are like different forms of the same Lord, but that is not correct. We have already seen there is a Ishvara Tattva, Shakti Tattva, and Jiva Tattva. So they fall under Jiva Tattva. Who whatever falls in Ishvara Tattva, they can be said, these are different forms of the Lord, like Vishnu, Krishna, Rama, Narsimhadev, Vamandev, Kurma Avatar. Like these are all incarnation of Krishna, incarnation of the Lord. So all are Vishnu Tattvas. They can be said, they can be equated, kind of equated. But we cannot equate the Ishvara Tattva with the Jiva Tattva. It is just like saying that I am also God. If we equate them, so because we are also Jiva Tattva, and we say some Jiva Tattva is also a like form of the Lord, so then in a way we are saying that we are also Lord. So that is incorrect to say. So this is a misconception. So therefore, like due to this misconception, people like try to worship like many demigods. सब उनको लगता है कि सब भगवान के ही फॉर्म है, सबको वर्शिप कर सकते हैं. So this misconception is there. So in their altar you will find all जो भी possible देवता मिलेंगे वो फोटो रख के उनकी पूजा करने लगेंगे without understanding that who is who. That is a misconception. And so that is an offense. Like if we consider these demigods, which are very great, it is not that they are very koi chote mote log hain. They are very great, but they are not equal to Supreme Lord. So that misconception is there. So we will recite this verse. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Suvanti Divyastavar. वेदै संगापाद क्रमोपश पनिषदैर् गायन्ति यं समगा ध्यानावाशिता तद्गतेन मनसेन पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो. यस्यन्तं न विदुषुरा सुरगणा देवय तस्मै नमः. Read the translation.
Unto that personality, Lord Krishna, whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, and Maruta.
Sharan go.
Five times translated their names and reciting the Veda with all their corollaries, Padakarmas, and Upanishads, to whom which answered in the Samaveda, and this thing to whom the perfect yogis see within their minds after placing themselves in trance and becoming full absorbed perfect thing, and whose limit can never be found by any demigod or demon until that supreme personality of God. I offer my humble obeisance.
So this verse is from Bhagavatam, in which Shukdev Sutta Goswami is saying that he is offering his obeisances, whom these other personalities are always praising. Who are these personalities? Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruts, praised by chanting, and all other Vedas and yogis, they are also praising the Supreme Lord. So this verse clearly states that the Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Lord by all other demigods. So they don't have any confusion. He Supreme Lord God. For example, and they also feel bad. Like when people worship them as the Supreme, they also feel bad. So sometimes, suppose if some constable is there, police constable, and we go to him like, you are very nice, you're doing very nicely serving, so he will feel happy. Then you say to him that actually, you are the sub inspector of Bangalore, and you are the DG, you are the IG, and everything is under your control. So he will feel ashamed. He will say that, like, are you speaking sarcastically or what? कि आप ही सब कुछ है पूरी दुनिया. You are the prime minister. You are simply saying like that. So he will feel that you are like glorifying me, but not glorifying me correctly. So in a way, you are offending me because he knows who is the sub-inspector. He knows who is the IG. He knows who is the prime minister. He knows everyone. And you are mistakenly calling him the other person. So similarly, when people worship demigods, thinking them to the Supreme Lord, then demigods are not pleased with them. But if we worship the demigods, thinking them to be devotees of the Supreme Lord, then they are very much pleased. Correct, na? So, so similarly, like so one cannot equate everyone. Like there is a prime minister, there is a chief minister, and there is a MLA, there is MP. Not all personalities are same. They are different personalities. So we cannot equate them. This we already seen. So one more verse comes in Shwet Ashvatar Upanishad. So we'll read the translation. We don't have much time. Read the translation. Hmm. तो मैं पढ़ देता हूँ. The Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers and हाँ.
And he is the greatest leader of all the diverse planetary leaders. Everyone is under his control, all entities are invested with particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. He is also worshippable by all demigods and is the supreme director of all directors. Therefore, he is beyond all kinds of material leaders and cultures, and is worshippable by all. There is no one greater than him. He is the supreme cause of all causes.
So he is the leader of all other leaders. So he is the leader. So there are different Ishwaras in this world, but he is a Param Ishwar. He is a controller of all other Ishwaras. Then Krishna also says this in Bhagavad Gita 7:22. Sataya Shraddhya Yuktas Tasya Radhanam Iyate Labhate Chatata Kaman Mayeva Vihitan Hitan. Translation.
And thou wilt such a free endeavor to worship a particular demigod and obtain his desire. But naturally, these benefits are bestowed by many others.
So Krishna here is saying that a person, when he worships a demigod, he has a faith to worship that demigod, and he endeavors to worship that demigod and obtains his desires. So he is worshipping for some desires, but in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. So whatever desire we have, suppose we have some desire and we go to some demigod and he awards that desire. So Krishna is saying that the award that you are giving, the result that you are getting from the demigod, that in actuality is awarded by me only. So in a way, it is saying that even if you worship a demigod, even if you worship anyone, Krishna is the only one who can give you that reward. So Krishna is the controller of all the controllers. So there are some managerial posts are here whom you can approach and they can give you something. But actuality, it is coming from Krishna himself because everything belongs to Krishna. So that is a relationship between Krishna and the demigods. So in another verse of Gita, Krishna also says that, maybe it will come, Krishna also says that people who are worshipping demigods are actually worshipping me only, but in an indirect way. Correct, na? So they are worshipping Krishna only, but in an indirect way. So they may not be knowing they are worshipping for getting some benefit for some demigod, but because like Krishna has only appointed all of them, so they are worshipping Krishna, but in an indirect way. So therefore, they are called as less intelligent. So we have also seen that example, like if you have to water a plant, not a plant, suppose big tree is there, very big, the banyan tree is there, and you have to water it. So it has many leaves. So कितना leaves होगा banyan tree? 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 leaves है उसमें वाली. So you do not go and pour water on each leaf. उस पानी डालने कब तक पानी डालते पानी ऐसे थोड़ा सा पानी उस पर थोड़ा सा पानी उस पर ऐसे कर कब तक डालेंगे पानी? We're not able to do that. The intelligent way to water a banyan tree is to water at the root. And if the root of the tree is provided with water, that automatically like goes in all the branches, sub branches, and leaves out ultimately. One more example that comes in Bhagavatam is the stomach. So suppose if you are doing some seva and you are very tired, और थक गए, vessel washing कर रहे थे वहां पे, सब धुल रहे थे, and you are very tired. Now you want some energy. Hands and legs are tired. So what do? So you take some kheer and apply it on your hand. हाँ, थोड़ा शक्ति मिले हाथ को. फिर थोड़ा पैर पे, थोड़ा घुटने पे थोड़ा लगाते हैं, दर्द कर रहा है. थोड़ा रोटी यहाँ रखते हैं, पूड़ी यहाँ रखते हैं, दाल दाल को इसमें डालते हैं. नो, वी डोंट डू दैट. व्हाई? बिकॉज वी नो if we provide food, food has to be provided to a proper place. The place in which a food should go is the stomach. And when food goes to the stomach, it provides energy to all the body parts automatically. So these are very nice examples. एकदम clearly समझ में आता है relationship of देवतास and भगवान. भगवान और देवता के बीच में क्या संबंध है, very easily we can understand. Now we'll discuss on this topic. Like, and also like whenever there is some problem in discharge of duties of this universe, demigods may also run into some problems. So they seek shelter of the Supreme Lord for this purpose. Can you tell some examples? Some problem happened and
must be behind the behind the tent.
correct. You know that? So one personality was there, Bhasmasur. So he was worshipping Lord Shiva, and so thing is that when we worship the demigods, so it is like that. If the procedure is followed to worship the demigod, then they have to fulfill the desire. They have to appear and give the boon. So he was worshipping Lord Shiva, and when Shiva appeared to him, so he asked, like, "What boon do you want?" So he said, "I want this boon that if I put a hand on any person, that person's head will crack and he will die." So this boon he asked. So Shiva gave, and then he went after Lord Shiva himself. Like, I will put a hand on your head, now you will die. Why? Because he wanted to enjoy the wife of Lord Shiva. So his eyes are on Parvati, Mother Parvati. So, like, what kind of worship is this? You are worshipping some person and you are planning to kidnap his wife, like that. So then that pastime is there, like Lord Shiva runs, and then Lord Vishnu comes in a form of a Brahmana. No, that is a different pastime. So in this pastime, he comes as he comes as a Brahmana, a brahmachari, and so he asks Bhasmasur, "Where are you going?" So he's saying, "I'm running after Lord Shiva. I need to kill him." So okay, why do you think you can kill Lord Shiva? So he said, "He has given me a boon that if I put a hand on anyone's head, he will die." So Vishnu says that Brahmana says that, "Oh, Lord Shiva said like that." I don't believe, like, if it is really possible, because like he's running, like he will make a joke of you. Well, he's running behind you, and ultimately you will reach him. You will put your hand on his head, and nothing will happen, and then everyone will laugh on you. So, do you think really it will happen? Yeah, then he also got doubt. Well, I don't know whether it will work or not. So, to check, you can put your hand on your head and check for yourself. And so, I should check. So, as soon as then he put the hand on his head cracked and he died. So, this why we are telling this? So, this is where Lord Shiva is seeking help of Lord Vishnu to protect him. Similarly, whenever there is when Lord Krishna's appearance was about to happen, all the demigods approached Lord Vishnu, and they offered prayers that due to demoniac people on earthly planet, Mother Earth also personified came there, and they prayed for Lord's incarnation to come to this world. So all the demigods are worshipping. So then Lord Vishnu, he didn't appear to everyone. He appeared only to Lord Brahma, and he gave the instruction that you all appear in the Yadu dynasty. Yadumo ke vansh mein aap log आइए. I will also take birth. I will also appear in some time. So that way. So they are also seeking shelter for Supreme Lord. And many other pastimes are there. Samudra Manthan Leela, and many pastimes where demigods are seeking shelter. And okay. So whenever there is cosmic disturbance, so if Supreme Lord, like if the demigods have to seek protection from some other personality, so devatas are seeking protection from the Supreme Lord, how they can be equal to them? So they are not equal. From this we can understand. Now let's understand how the worship of Lord Krishna is different from worship of demigods, and how they reciprocate with their devotees. That is also different. So one shloka comes beside this. Ye api anya devata bhakta yajante shraddhavan avita te api mamev kaunteya यजन्ते अविधि पूर्वकम. Read this.
We require the ability of other God and to worship God with faith. Actually, worship only most one of complete, but they do so in the wrong.
This we already discussed. So Krishna here is saying the same thing. Right? Those are devotees of other gods. They worship them with faith. And in one verse, he says that faith to worship the demigods, that faith is also applied, like given to them by Krishna himself, so that they can worship somebody. Well, we need some faith. So people like say like I am मैं उनका भक्त हूँ, मैं शिव का भक्त हूँ, मैं गणेश का भक्त हूँ, मैं दुर्गा देवी का भक्त हूँ. But bhakta means like one has to have a faith and one has to surrender to the demigod. So people like mark themselves कि हाँ हम भक्त हैं, but in actuality what they are doing, like they are just opening the, वो अपना घर में फाटक खोलते हैं ऐसे, उसमें से दिया जला देते हैं, फिर जब मन किया बंद कर देते हैं, जब मन किया खोल देते हैं, थोड़ा बहुत हाथ जोड़ लेते हैं, and whatever like what they are offering in their prayers, they are not offering many prayers, they are offering just like they are asking for something कि हाँ मुझे ये चाहिए, कल मेरा एग्जाम है तो आज ये लड्डू चढ़ाया है, और अभी मेरा ये प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है घर में, और मेरी शादी आने वाला है उसके लिए इंतजाम करना है, और या देयर इज अ कोर्ट केस आ गया है, सो वी नीड हेल्प इन दैट. सो दे आर ऑलवेज आस्किंग समथिंग. सो दैट इज नॉट वर्शिप. वर्शिप मीन्स दैट you are you are ready to surrender your life. So like we understand like there's symptoms of surrender. So one of the some symptoms of surrender is that one has to accept what is favorable and reject what is unfavorable, and one has to see that Krishna is the only shelter, and he's my only maintainer. So when that kind of surrender is there, then we can say ha he's a devotee of the demigod. But nowadays, people say themselves that I am a devotee of some demigod, but actually they are not. Some sentimental thing is there only. So, so see this example. Suppose some shopkeeper is there, and he's selling some sweet, and or sweet shop is there, and uh, in a sweet shop there are flies आसपास आते हैं वो, and on that sweet they are sitting, and the flies are eating that sweet. And a small boy goes, yeah, and says to ask to shopkeeper, कि I want that sweet. The shopkeeper will say, हाँ पैसा लाओ, 10 रुपए लाओ देंगे. So he gives him 10 rupees and he gives the sweet. Although it is very much infested by the flies and all the like insects are there, but still if he gets the money, then his job is done. Money मिला, sweet देना है. But suppose if your mother is there, or if your parent is there, and some sweet is kept, and flies are around there, cockroaches ये सब उसमें घूम रहा है उसमें, and child comes and asks the mother, mother मुझे sweet चाहिए, तो mother देगी क्या? She will not give. She will say like I will prepare something else for you. You don't need this. This is all bad. So similarly, with the demigods, it is like a transaction. If you provide, if you follow that procedure, ये ऐसा यज्ञ या ऐसा कर्म कांडा ऐसा कुछ करना है, if you do like that, then they have to fulfill that as a मतलब mediator, मतलब उनको जो ट्रांजेक्शन मिला उसके रिजल्ट उनको देना पड़ेगा, like that. So they give the results whenever we follow a certain process. That is why people like tend to go to demigods very quickly, because they know that if we do this process, we'll get something. But difference between Krishna and the demigods is that Krishna will not give what you want. So I want this, but Krishna will not give. Krishna will give only that which you need. What is our need? He will only that give. तो आपको चाहिए स्वीट, लेकिन स्वीट गंदा है तो मदर नहीं देगी. आपको तो कुछ भी चाहिए होगा, लेकिन वट एवर इज यूजफुल फॉर यू, वट इज बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू, दैट ओनली कृष्णा विल. सो like there are many examples like people go to Suryadev for getting cure from disease, and goddess Saraswati for getting some knowledge, and for getting some husband, people perform some that vrata. What is that? सोमवार व्रता, like 16 सोमवार का व्रत रखेंगे तो अच्छा पति मिलेगा, like that. People perform those. So these facilities are given for less intelligent people. Like if you want to like get something, anyways, you approach a personality, and he will provide you something. So some surrender aspect is there. But Krishna, there is no guarantee that if you ask something to Krishna, like he may give also, he may not give also. He will see whether by giving you this, it will help you come closer to him, then he will give. But if not, he will not give. So, so demigods will give you whatever you want. Then now this question comes, like, if demigod worship is like, people may have some material desires and they want something which is not helpful for them. So why does this happen? Like, why do most people still worship demigods, knowing that, like, you tell, why do people go to demigods?
If he follows certain procedure that what he said,
Hmm.
he may get.
You may get. So it is said that demigods provide quick result. मतलब आपको अच्छा सा चाहिए quick result. So quick. So it is said that quick material benefits you can get. So whatever the person is asking, he will give. But Krishna will not give anything that is harmful to the devotee's spiritual life. So it is like a purification. So Krishna will first. So it is not like that कि मतलब कि भगवान से material चीज नहीं मांगना चाहिए. Krishna can also give material things, but he will make sure that when he gives that, you will not be able to misuse it. So suppose someone gives you some power and you are not able to hold that power. You are like misusing it for some other purpose. So it is better not to give you that power. Correct, na? Suppose some here and there person is made a prime minister or some military general. So he will have his own desires, his own thinking. So he will do something. He will like sell off something. Oh, jameen बेच दिया किसी को ये कर दिया कुछ. He will do anything. So whenever Krishna gives something, whenever any material thing, even if Krishna gives, he will make sure that person is the right patra, the correct vessel to hold that power. So one example comes in the story of Dhruva Maharaj. You have heard the story of Dhruva Maharaj? So he was wanting a kingdom greater than his grandfather, his own grandfather, and he followed a process. Narad Muni told him, do this, do that, and he followed that. And then Narayan appeared in front of him. So, but then what he prayed is that, oh Lord, I wanted this great kingdom, but I got your association, I got your darshan. Now I don't want anything else. So his desire was there. His desire was material to approach the Supreme Lord. But when Krishna appeared, all his material desires were removed, were all cleansed. And his only desire was to serve the Lord. But still, Krishna fulfilled his desire. It is not that कृष्णा की ने नहीं दिया, मतलब लोग भगवान के पास आएंगे ही नहीं कभी, मतलब कि भगवान के पास जाने से कुछ मतलब पूरा गरीबी आ जाता है, कुछ आता ही नहीं. ऐसा नहीं है. लॉर्ड गिव्स, बट फर्स्ट ही मेक श्योर दैट यू आर प्यूरिफाइड, देन ही गिव्स, so that you will be able to use it properly. So this is intelligence. So if intelligent people will directly worship the Supreme Lord, even if for material things he will ask the Supreme Lord, because Krishna will surely give, but first he will make sure that we are purified. Another example is that about Sudama. So people think that if we worship, matlab, if we become a devotee of Krishna, we will become a Sudama. Sudama means like he was very poor, a poor Brahman. But Krishna made him very rich at the end. So when Sudama went to Dwarika, so Sudama's wife had told Sudama that Krishna is a great king. When you go there, ask him something. He can give many things. But Sudama, because he was a devotee of Lord, he like didn't ask anything. He just went there and he met Krishna. He talked with him, and he never mentioned that I am in this condition of life, and at my home my children are crying. There's nothing to eat. And even like he gave Krishna something, like that rice, correct. So he gave. So he didn't ask anything. But still, when he returned, like he saw that all like his home was turned into a great palace and everything, all material arrangements were there. So Krishna also provides. It is not that Krishna will not provide. So Krishna awards material benefits to his devotees, but only when first he purifies the heart. So this example we have seen, Dhruva, Sudama. We got 4 minutes. Okay. So demigod worship is futile. So we have seen demigod worship is futile because whatever boon that they provide is temporary and material. Why? Why can't they provide some spiritual boon or some permanent thing to us. Demigods भी तो मतलब what is permanent? First understand what is permanent. So permanent thing is whatever is not material. Like, can they make us go out of the cycle of birth and death? That is permanent. If we are and anything we get, suppose we get money, so we get some good job or good something we get, but that is in the material world. And with the change of body, that will be gone. You get good knowledge. आपने को PhD कर लिया, good knowledge मिल गया. Next life में फिर से आप ABC से चालू कर लो. So that will be gone at the end of death. Death के साथ सब चला गया. So demigods are not able to provide something which can last forever. That only Krishna is able to. So what is the reason for that? The reason is that they are themselves under the modes of material nature. ये reason है. They are themselves under the modes of material nature. So someone who is himself under the modes of material nature, he cannot avoid you liberation. अगर जो खुद ही मतलब a person is drowning, he is in the ocean, he is trying to swim, he is drowning, and there's a other person also who is drowning. So the other person cannot save this person. He has to be outside the ocean. He has to be in a boat. बोट में है, फिर वो उसको निकाल सकते. The person who is already outside the modes of influence or modes of material nature, he can take the other person out of the modes of material. So therefore, demigods are not able to avoid liberation to us. Liberation means, like, if we want to get away from the cycle of birth and death, that demigods are not able to provide. So one example comes the Hiranyakashipu. What he worshipped Lord Brahma, and his first question, first requirement was that what did he want? You make me immortal. He first asked, make me immortal. Then Brahma said, I am also not immortal. How can I make you immortal? So then he used intelligence. हाँ, तो बेवकूफ बना देंगे लोगों को. और he asked that neither animal nor human, not in the day, night, inside home, outside home, many things he asked. But still, he was killed by Lord Narasimha. So that is a whole pastime. So thing is that when he asked Lord Brahma about something that is out of this material world, immortality, the eternal life, that he cannot provide because he himself don't have. तो जो आपके पास है वही तो आप दे सकते हैं. अगर आपके पास स्वीट है, आप स्वीट दे सकते हैं. आपके पास स्वीट मांगने को या दे सकते हैं, लेकिन जो हमारे पास है नहीं, कैसे दे सकते. Similarly, so whatever they provide, they will finish with this material world. And so demigods are there, their planets are there, Swargaloka is also temporary. So our ultimate goal is to go back to God. हमारा क्या, हमको वैकुंठ लोक जाना है या कृष्ण लोक जाना है. But if we worship demigods, we'll go to their lokas, Swargaloka, Prithviloka, their lokas will go, and those are also temporary. So that means, like, that will end, destruction will happen, material world destroy hoga, next birth somewhere else. So therefore, it is said that demigod worship is for less intelligent. Another example comes is that when people desire for sense gratification, some pleasure from the demigods, it is just like an itch. Itch समझते हैं ना? Itch, खुजली. So whenever some itch is there and I want to scratch it, itch को, so then what do you think happens? So it feels good. If we scratch the itch, we feel that it will be satisfied. एक बार ऐसे 4-5 खुजा देंगे चला आएगा. But no, when you scratch it, it aggravates more. Then you want to scratch it even more. थोड़ा और करेंगे ऐसे लगेगा कर करके इतना हो जाएगा कि that may start bleeding also. So similarly, when we ask for material desire to demigods, so it is like that you are asking कि oh demigod, please scratch my back. मुझे पीठ में खुजली हो रहा है, scratch कर दीजिए. So they will scratch it because you have followed the procedure. So they will scratch it and you will think that अब हो गया. But no, after their scratching, you will again ask the same thing. Oh, please scratch my back again. So they will again scratch. So this will keep on happening. So the desire for sense enjoyment will not go, and we'll keep on asking them for these boons, and we will stay in this material world forever. तो material world से निकल ही नहीं पाएंगे. कुछ चाहिए, कुछ pleasure चाहिए, कुछ ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, सब मांगते रहेंगे और ये होता रहेगा. But if we ask the Supreme Lord, भगवान से बोलेंगे भगवान हमारी पीठ में खुजली हो रहा है, इसको देखिए जरा, तो भगवान क्या करेंगे, भगवान विल अप्लाई सम ऑइंटमेंट, कुछ मेडिसिन देंगे, हो जाएंगे नहीं आके भगवान उसको। आपने बोला तो खुजा, भगवान नहीं आपने खुजाने को बोला था मैंने खुजा दिया, मेरा काम हो गया। नो, इट इज नॉट अ ट्रांजेक्शन। भगवान विल cure you out of that disease. So our disease is that we want sensory pleasure. So Lord will arrange in such a way, he will like send his devotees, he will give his scripture, Bhagavad Gita instruction dete Bhagwan, Lord will arrange everything so that your material desires are gone and like you will be able to come out of that situation. Okay. So we will move forward. And now this question comes, do all paths lead to the same goal? We have already discussed this in some previous classes. So some one popular belief is that whatever you want to worship, whatever you want to do, you can follow that process. Like in Bengali they say yato mat tato pat, जैसा आप चाहते हैं वैसा कर सकते हैं. So but this is not correct. So Prabhupada like really defeats this argument. Like he says that suppose if you buy a ticket for Delhi, Bombay se Delhi ka ticket you have purchased. So if you purchase a ticket for Delhi, you cannot reach Madras. You will reach there. So similarly, if we follow a certain process of worship given in Vedas, not all the processes will lead the same result. If you follow, so this verse comes. Let's recite this. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitrin yanti pitrvata, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti mad yajino pima. Translation. So here clearly destinations are given. So those are worshipping demigods will take birth. Well, after this life, they will take birth in the planets in which those demigods are residing. Similarly, Pitrin. Pitri means the Pitraloka, our ancestors. So if we worship our ancestors, they will also you will also in your next life take a birth in that planet. Similarly, Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja means those who worship the ghost, they will also take in the next body, they will also become ghosts. Yanti Majano Apimam. But those who will worship me will come to me. So Krishna says this many, many times. Those who worship me, they will come to me. So it is natural ना. जिसको आप worship कर रहे हैं, आप उसी के पास ultimately पहुंच जाएंगे. जो आप चाह रहे हैं वो हो जाएगा. So when we worship the Supreme Lord, then we go to Vaikuntha Loka. We come out of this material existence. But if we worship someone else, a demigod, then we will remain in this material world. We'll skip. We'll already seen this. How watering the root of the tree, same place. And this also we've seen. Demigods cannot avoid liberation. No, this question comes. So, can demigods avoid mukti or not? So this liberation. So we have seen demigods cannot avoid liberation, but sometimes we have seen in some pastimes where when some person approaches. So there was one pastime. There was one pisacha known as Ghanta Karna. So he was a devotee of Lord Shiva. And it was such arranged that ultimately he achieved liberation. So thing is that whenever such things happen, it is to be understood that demigods are acting as a guru. So who is a guru? Guru is also Jiva Tattva. And he is acting on the behalf of the Lord. So he is a connection to, like Srila Prabhupada, he is our connection to the Supreme Lord. So if we follow his instructions, then we will be able to achieve liberation. Correct na? So we will be able to, so his instructions are worship the Supreme Lord. So Lord Shiva also, he says that there is no doubt that only Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. So Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation. Vishnu only can provide mukti, but demigods can help you in that process. So like the gopis are worshipping goddess Katyayani. Correct na? So in one pastime it comes like they are worshipping goddess Katyayani, goddess Kali, for getting Krishna as their husband. So this is very much appreciated. You can worship the demigods for advancing in bhakti. Like you can worship Lord Ganesha. For what? So he can remove obstacles. So you can pray to him to remove obstacles in the path of our bhakti. You can pray to goddess Katyayani like that. So we can worship different demigods. If we ask them this, then they are very happy to award this. Otherwise, if you ask them, हाँ मुझे ये दे दीजिए एग्जाम पास करेगा, हाँ ये तो रोज यही का मामला है, हाँ ठीक है ले जाओ. But if you ask them like, I want to do bhakti of Lord Krishna, I want to progress, advance in bhakti, please help me. So then they are very much pleased with you. Correct? So in that way, they act as guru and they arrange such things because they are also devotees of the Lord. So we should always respect the demigods in that station. So they can help. They are very close to the Lord, and we cannot directly approach the Lord. ऐसा लोग सोचते हैं कि हम मैं हूँ और भगवान है, बस हमारा कनेक्शन है. नहीं, देयर आर डिफरेंट पर्सनालिटीज देयर. सो लॉर्ड, अगर आप भगवान के पास चले भी जाएंगे तो भगवान पूछेंगे आप कौन है, तो कहेंगे हाँ मेरा नाम ये है. तो नहीं, मैं नहीं जानता आपको कौन है आप, जाइए वापस जाइए. लेकिन आप बोलेंगे नहीं, लाइक आई हैव गॉट रिकमेंडेशन फ्रॉम लॉर्ड शिवा, प्लीज सी दिस. तो हाँ, लॉर्ड शिवा ने भेजा आपको, हाँ आइए आइए. So then he will accept you, then he will welcome you. So whenever we approach the Lord through his devotees or through demigods, understanding that we are worshipping the Supreme Lord, our destination is go to Vaikuntha, and these devotees are helping me in that process, then that is the correct consciousness. So this we'll skip through, and this also we can cover. So so if demigod worship is not proper, why it is even prescribed in scripture? ऐसा नहीं होता कि मतलब स्क्रिप्चर में होता ही नहीं इसके बारे में कुछ. There in the Vedas, how to worship Lord Shiva to get this, it is mentioned. How to worship Lord Indra to get this, it is mentioned. How to get cured from disease by worshiping this demigod, it is also mentioned. How to get a good knowledge by worshipping this demigod, it is also given. The process are given. Perform this yajna, do this activity, that activity. It is also given. So why it is even given in the scriptures? अगर ऐसा नहीं होता सबको बता दिया था नहीं ये सब है, सो छोड़ो, भगवान को वर्शिप करना है, लॉर्ड कृष्ण को वर्शिप करना है, सुप्रीम लॉर्ड को वर्शिप करना है, बाकी सबको नहीं करना है. तो यही प्रोसेस है. एक अकेला प्रोसेस होता, देयर आर मेनी पाथ्स ना. वुडंट इट हैव बीन बेटर इफ देयर वाज ओनली वन पाथ? बताइए, अच्छा होता ना? नहीं, प्रॉब्लम होता है. क्या होता है कि नॉट एवरीवन इज ऑन द सेम लेवल. अगर आप किसी को एकदम प्योर डिवोशनल लेवल पे आने को बोलेंगे तो अभी वो उस लेवल पे नहीं आ पाएगा. ही हैज दिस मटेरियल डिजायर एंड ही वांट्स क्विक सॉल्यूशन. तो या तो वो वैदिक अथॉरिटी को पूरा रिजेक्ट कर देगा. सो वी हैव गिवन इन प्रीवियस क्लासेस द एग्जांपल ऑफ मीट ईटिंग. पीपल आर नेचुरली दे आर accustomed to eat meat, and if you go oppose them, one has to worship Lord Vishnu, and to Lord Vishnu you can offer these items made of milk, grains and fruits and leaves. हाँ, यही ऑफर करना है, यही खाना है, यही भोगा लगाना है, और मीट ईट हटाओ, हटाओ, ये सब नॉन धार्मिक एक्टिविटीज, अधार्मिक एक्टिविटीज. सो ही विल नॉट, ही से गो अवे, आई विल, मेरा लाइफ जैसे चल रहा है अच्छा चल रहा है, ही विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट इट. बट इफ इन सम वैदिक अथॉरिटी समथिंग इज गिवन, हाँ यू कैन ऑल्सो ईट मीट, हाँ वैदिक अथॉरिटी में ऐसा भी दिया मीट खा सकते हैं, देन ही विल बी एबल टू take up to that process, some of the process, although restriction will be there. So in meat eating we have this restriction that one has to worship to goddess Kali and offer that animal, and that he can only do on a Amavasya day. So that means every 14 days. So there is a restriction, but he will be able to take to up this process, unlike fully rejecting it. So there are different levels of people. According to the level of people, different sections of Vedas are there. Vedas we have discussed Vedas in mode of goodness, Vedas in mode of ignorance, Puranas in mode of goodness, ignorance and passion, are designed for different kinds of people so that they can able to take up to some process. उनका सरेंडर कुछ तो चालू होगा. मतलब उनको कुछ भी चाहिए तो उनको ये तो समझ में आया कुछ जीवन में कुछ, if they want to achieve something in their life, they have to surrender to some personality. Maybe he is a supreme lord, maybe he is not a supreme lord, but at least they will understand this. But and slowly they will gradually understand कि हाँ, to get the supreme benefit, if I surrender to Krishna, then I will get a supreme benefit. So therefore, this demigod worship is also prescribed. But Gita clearly said, Gita is scripture for people in pure mode of goodness, and it clearly says this kind of worship is for less intelligent people. If you are intelligent, just surrender onto Supreme Lord Krishna, and everything will be fulfilled. So Krishna promises this in that verse, 18.66. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishami ma sucha. Just surrender unto me. Mam ekam. Only one. मुझे माम एकम शरणम वजा, then people may have doubt like, okay, if I surrender to you, what will happen? Then he says that mamekam sarana aham tvam sarva papebhyo, I will release you from the reaction of your all sinful activities. That is his promise. So अभी तक जो भी हो गया ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Now on, you just surrender unto me, I will relieve you of the all the sins, sinful activities. And this he promises. Ma sucha, don't worry, I am promising this. So Krishna is saying this we have already seen. So we deal with demigods as they are devotees of the Supreme Lord, and we approach them in that way. We are not disrespecting them. So we should, whenever we go to a temple, not that कि हाँ ऐसे हाँ ये तो डेमिगॉड है, हम इनको ऑब्सेंस क्यों पे करें, हम तो विष्णु को या कृष्ण को ही ऑब्सेंस पे. नो नो, दे आर आल्सो डिवोटीज. सो व्हेनेवर वी एंटर, वी ऑफर ऑब्सेंस टू प्रभुपाद, we offer obeisance to the devotees, say Hare Krishna devotees. So whenever we visit, happen to visit any temple, demigod also, we offer obeisances in the same spirit, that they are very close associates of the Lord, and we respect them in that, and they are also pleased then. Is there any question? कुछ क्वेश्चन हो तो बताइए. हाँ, कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है? कुछ भी नहीं है? कुछ तो होगा. हाँ,
क्लैरिटी मिल रही है।
क्लैरिटी.
पहले तो ये दो सेशन एक सेशन
हाँ, ये टॉपिक हम लोग बहुत डिस्कस करते हैं. हाँ, शायद लेवल 2 में भी हुआ था एक दो. हाँ हाँ. हम पूरा टॉपिक डिस्कस नहीं कर पाए एक्चुअली. जो चारू प्रभु कार्तिक पूजे थे, 2 घंटे का सेशन होता है. तो अभी तो हम लोग मतलब आपने बीच में देखा, स्किप कर दिया. बढ़ते आए, टाइम का है, दूसरा सेशन चालू हुआ. ठीक है, तो अंत करते हैं इसका. हरे कृष्ण.